Yo, we making calzones? I think we're gonna make some calzones.
All right, first of all, homemade pizza dough to make some calzones. Get your water, get it up to like 90 degrees to 95, not any higher than that. Then we're gonna put the yeast in there. 88 is good enough for me. Yeast is gonna go in. And we're gonna mix it up. I need a proper spoon that hasn't been used for coffee because I don't know if that would work. And just mix it up. And basically, let it sit for like 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna make the dough. Let the yeast sit for a little too long. It's honestly like dry yeast, didn't even need to proof it or whatever it's called. But here's the recipe. So you take another half cup water in, take about like a half teaspoon of salt. I'm not gonna use any like specific measurements, just to show you you can do this like pretty simple. It doesn't have to be too fancy. You're gonna take about 2 tablespoons worth of honey, then about 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Okay, is that looking pretty good so far? From here, get your 1 cup of flour. This is one you don't want to fuck around on. And then, as simple as mixing that shit in. I don't have like the right size whisk, so I'm just gonna use this whisk. But this will be fun. Just mix that up. You're gonna want to add your yeast mixture, and from here, mix it up even more. Add another cup of flour. Keep mixing, keep mixing. You're going to keep mixing. And final cup of flour, 3 cups flour total. Okay, at this point, clean hands. You can just mix it by hand. That's what I like to do. And it'll mix together pretty nice. And basically, you're just making your dough at this point. So get all those wet ingredients mixed up with all that flour. And it's gonna make a nice soft dough. This process takes anywhere from like 6 to 10 minutes. But yeah, just keep going and keep going. Don't stop. When you think you're done, you probably aren't. So just keep going and mixing all the dry ingredients in. Okay, so when you're at the point where it's pretty well mixed, you gotta just take it out to a surface. I mean, I'm gonna have to clean this stove off anyways, so then now I'm just gonna fully on knead the dough. And then yeah, you know, I've already been going for a couple minutes, so like I said, what I say, 6 to 10 minutes, it's probably pretty accurate. You just keep kneading it, folding it over. You have to add more flour, just have something ready to go. And you can keep going. All right, so once your dough's all soft and formed up, I just put it back in the original bowl that I had. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a towel or something, and I'm gonna cover it up about an hour, 2 hours. Okay, so now that our dough has risen, been on the counter for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm going to separate it into 4 equal pieces, and that's because we're going to make 4 calzones. So lightly flour a surface, make sure your hands are lightly floured, and then remove the dough and put it onto the cutting board. So now that your dough's been moved over, I'm just simply going to eyeball it right down the middle here. That looks like about half to me. So half and half, and then 1. Right down the middle. So that's 2. Right down the middle. Makes 4. That's 4 equal pieces, or pretty well equal. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm basically just gonna put them back in my bowl, and I'm gonna cover them because we are not cooking them right away, and you don't want to just leave them on the counter. So I'm gonna cover them, probably in a smaller bowl, honestly. Just cover them up airtight and put them in my fridge. All right, so now all that's left is to make the marinara sauce for the homemade calzones, right, Mom?
Right.
You looked in the fridge. You can put your dough in the fridge for a couple days. I'm gonna make them tonight so they're in the fridge for a couple hours, and I'm gonna make the marinara sauce, and I'll show you how to do it. So here's what you're gonna need. Crushed tomatoes, or if you're really fancy, you get some San Marzanos and crush them up yourself. I didn't do that. Basil,
dry, fresh. Fresh is probably better. I got dry. Italian seasoning. And some red chili flakes. This adds a lot of flavor. It's a little spicier. And then obviously some olive oil. This is decent ass olive oil. I just got it on sale. So that's kind of your spread. Olive oil, Italian seasoning, basil, crushed tomatoes. Wait a sec.
Something's missing. I don't have any garlic. I don't have any garlic. What'd you do with it, man? What'd you do with the garlic, man? Wait a sec. Whoa! Oh shit. Hey, thanks, Bruce. You had the garlic all along up your nose canal, up your nostril. Fuck you. Boom, so there's the spread you're gonna need. All right, let's get this sauce started. So, measurements are 2 tablespoons Italian seasoning, 2 tablespoons basil leaves, about a teaspoon chili flakes, and then I use 4 cloves of garlic. If you're using maybe smaller cloves, use 5 cloves. Make sure the saucepan nice and hot. It's gonna start out about 3 tablespoons olive oil. Get that all started. Once your oil is nice and heated up, add the garlic. And basically, you're gonna wanna make sure that this gets nice and aromatic. You don't wanna really overcook this stuff. And since we're using mostly dry ingredients, you wanna get those thrown in early too. So, what I'm gonna do is in with my dry ingredients as well. And we're gonna mix those off. You don't want your dry ingredients to burn up at the bottom there. There is lots of oil in there, so that should help it out in terms of not totally sticking to the pan. Just keep mixing them up. And what you can do from this point is you're gonna add 1 can of your crushed tomatoes, 28 ounces. Make sure you don't leave any in the can. Mix that up, mix that up, mix that up. Mix that up. You can just let it simmer a few minutes, a couple minutes. 20 to 30 is what I'm gonna do. Okay, once your sauce is sufficiently simmered, leave it to the side, let it cool down. We're gonna start prepping the dough for the calzones. Okay, it's time. Get your dough ball. Flour the surface up, dough ball on. And now, it's time to roll it out. Get your rolling pin. Make sure it's nice and floured. And if you want it to be nice and circular, it's a trick. You kind of go halfway down and then you rotate it, quarter circle turn every time. And you keep pulling down. And it's gonna make a relatively nice circular shape. But for now, we're just going to roll it out because we gotta get this thing pretty thin. So that's about the size that I want for my calzone. And now, what I'm gonna do is simply load it up. Let's get it started. Okay, those rolled out. Now guys, it doesn't have to look perfect either. Just make sure you get your sauce right in the center there and get it all spread around. There goes my oven preheating. You don't need too much, it's just gotta be in the center because you're gonna crimp this over and fold it. Too much sauce is gonna ruin it, right? Get some shredded mozzarella, boom, right in the center. And then what I got here is some, I think this is called Genoa and Calabrese. Got it fresh at my local kind of Italian marketplace. It's called Sauce. Really good food in there, really good deli. And they don't sell pepperoni because they don't make pepperoni pizzas in Italy, I guess, eh? Okay. Genoa goes on after the Calabrese. This is gonna be kind of like a meat and cheese lovers calzone. And I'm gonna go a little bit less Genoa because I got lots of Calabrese in there. And then a little more cheese on top. Okay, so now for the fun part, you're gonna wanna fold it over. Now fold it over onto itself like this. And it's gonna be pretty thick, and it's just as simple as rolling it up
rolling it up. Roll it up like into a nice little crust. And it's gonna take a couple go-overs, but that's okay. Just keep rolling it up like it's a nice little crust with your fingertips and keep going. And believe me, it took me an extra try on one that I tested before to get this kind of technique down. But believe me, it'll work. Just keep working it in. And then look at that. Beautifully wrapped calzone. Just kind of work it. You don't want to work it too much, but just work a nice little crust. Nice little pocket of calzone. You're going to want to put a little bit of oil on it. I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of drizzle. And yeah, oh yeah, baby, yeah. And if you want, you can go ahead, kind of fork it down a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So the oven up here doesn't fucking work. I have one downstairs, didn't want to use it, but here you can actually use a toaster oven and it'll work too.
Oh,
look at that,
geez.
browning beautifully. We're just gonna flip it around. And after, I would say 15-20 minutes, take it out. Beautifully golden brown, dusted with a little bit of basil. Let us cut into this guy. Okay, let us cut through. Let's see. Oh, the beautiful cross section. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the cheesy goodness. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. This is gonna be delicious. I gotta let it cool down for a moment before I take a bite. I'll be right back with that. All right, time for the moment of truth. We're gonna take a beautiful bite of this thing. I really hope it's not too hot. Oh yeah. Oh, the dough is beautiful. The cheese, the sauce is flowing. I don't know what else I would change. Maybe I'd use less dough, more filling, but as it stands, amazing. Super simple. I made 4 of them in no time. If you're familiar with making pizza dough on your own, this is quite a simple recipe, guys. If we're gonna actually rate this as a try it at home, you gotta try this one at home. Yo, so take your water. If you really want to get nerdy, make sure you spill all your yeast. Holy shit.